Saturday at the Doit at 2 p.m. Go ahead with questions for Coach Favors.
Can you talk a little bit about Western Michigan and in particular the ways that they seem to have stepped up their level of play the last few weeks?
I think that they have some talented athletes. I think that they have a very experienced defense. 8 out of 11 guys have played our offense before under Bill Cubitt. I think they have an outstanding set of receivers, quarterback that is working well within the offense, and maybe the third best tailback that we've faced this year. I mean, outside of the Wisconsin and the Indiana kid, this might be the next best tailback that we've come across. Maybe even better than the Buffalo tailback.
Over the last 6 quarters, statistically, things have been better. Have you noticed a confidence building? Jude said they're starting to feel more confident. Have you noticed a confidence building on the defense?
I think the whole football team, when you won your last 3 games, kind of clears the air of some of the other things that have been said out there. And I think that winning 3 weeks in a row really solves a lot of problems. But I think there's a lot of confidence on this football team, yes, sir.
When you say that it clears the air, what do you mean when you say that?
I think that, when you see some of the articles that have been written about the defense and all the things that happened earlier in the season, I think that all that stuff helps bonds a football team when they're able to put a performance out there that the defense has been able to do the last 6 weeks. All it does is make us stronger. As iron sharpens iron, one man shall sharpen another.
How much does that confidence help? The way you guys played last week, and then moving forward to another offense that seems to run the ball pretty well, and do a lot of things right. How much does that help, the way you guys have been playing?
I mean, the confidence helps going in, but once the ball's snapped, you still have the same problems that you have in any football game. Western Michigan may have more problems. Give us more problems because they have the ability to run and throw the football. Not that Ohio didn't, but Ohio wanted to lead with the run, and they reacted to the throw. I think Western Michigan's a lot more balanced and causes a lot more problems for the defense.
Coach, when we're judging a performance and have watched football for a while, we use standard statistics like total offense and plays that are run to judge whether a team played well. And I'm not arguing that the defense played well, because they did. But if we use those standard judging tools like total offense and plays run, you would have kind of a what happened defensively. What are the tools that we should use to judge how a defense plays well?
I like to use my eyes. I like to compare what I've seen before with what I've seen in the past, whether it's an individual performance or judging a team. That's what I like to do.
And when you're doing that, are you looking at the individuals, the way it meshes together? What things are you looking at?
The individuals, are things meshing together? Do you have all the pegs in the right hole, so to speak? Sometimes you could have the right 11 guys out there, but they're not in the right spots, and you have to move spots. And sometimes you can make 10 guys play a lot better by taking one guy out. And to me, it's just a matter of moving those guys around. We have enough good football players to win, and we have enough good football players to be productive on offense, defense, and special teams. It's just a matter of moving them in the right areas based off of the performances that they're giving you, and trying to get a consistent performance and not an occasional performance out of an athlete or a young man.
Coach, what do you kind of think has been the key to how the defense has played the last, say, 3 halves or so?
I wish I knew what it was so we could have started a lot sooner. I just really think that they really gel. I don't think they're fighting over the things that don't matter anymore. The thing that matters on defense is running to the football, tackling in space, and and creating turnovers. And I think that when you look at those last couple of quarters that you guys keep mentioning here today, is that those guys are running to the football, they're tackling in space, and they're creating turnovers.
How much did the return of Brian Moore help on Saturday against OU?
Ronnie Moore?
Ryland.
Oh, Ryland.
Yeah.
Ryland Ward,
Yeah.
okay. I think Ryland's big. It gives us another safety in the back end with a lot of experience. Now you're in a rotation with 2 or 3 safeties, and you're giving those guys a blow, and because of that, you're getting a better performance. If Ryland wouldn't have been part of our back unit in the game Saturday, and with the amount of snaps that they played, I'm not sure we'd have held up the way we'd have held up. But now playing with that many snaps and having a rotation back there enabled us to keep the performance level high on the back end, which was extremely important.
You mentioned that guys aren't fighting over things that don't matter, whatever it was you said. Were there guys that wanted to be out there or wanted more playing time? What was the fighting that you referenced?
What I'm referring to is that some things matter and some things don't matter, and you have to sort through that. And I think if you focus in on the little things and don't worry about the big picture, focus in on the little things, your job, being in your gap, tackling the football when it's in your gap, when the football's not in your gap, running to the football when you get there in a bad mood and try to rip the ball out. When you're doing those things and you're not worrying about the big picture, I think good things happen. I think that's what the defense has done. I think they've really focused in on being good at the little things.
The offense certainly has had a very productive year versus last year so far, Coach. 30 touchdowns, but no long drives this year. Does that concern you at all when your defense is out on the field for over 100 plays like that?
We had a long drive. We had 5 minutes and 46 seconds on a field goal at Ohio. That was twice as long as any drive we had all year. That was an upgrade.
So you're happy with a 5-minute drive?
Not really. I wish it was a lot shorter. No, I'm just being funny. The offense needs to do better. I was not happy with the performance at Ohio. We scored 31 points and we won the game, which is our objective. But we need to be better than that. We had too many 3-and-outs, and we kept the defense on the football field too long.
You mentioned the benefit of having Ryland back. Any chance we could see what's the latest on DJ? Anybody else that might be able to sneak in before the season's over?
Well, DJ is out there running with the trainers when the trainers clear him. Hopefully we'll get him back sooner than later. I would hope that we at least get him back after the 16-day break. Or bye, the longest bye I've ever heard of. But the 16-day bye that's coming up, hopefully we'll at least have him back by then. And anybody that we don't get back a week or two after that, the season's coming to a close, so to speak. So hopefully they can get him back after the bye for sure.
In regards to the offense at OU, and you talk about the struggles that they had, how much of that was a product of the inability to run the football, be able to do that thing?
Well, there's no doubt. I told you guys going in, the object was to stop the run and to be able to run the football, and they stopped us from running the football. And when you do that, you make an offense that was consistent inconsistent, and that's what you saw. But they were, my dad's buried in the National Cemetery in Houston, and he used to always say a hard head makes a soft behind, and meaning that they were not going to let us run the football. They were just doing things that just was going to make it extremely difficult to run the ball, and they just said throw it if you want to win. So we wanted to win.
A word more about the special teams and the way they help the defense, and especially the punting game. We talked a little bit about it on Saturday, but if you would, can you just address that Davidson's punting and him pushing Ohio back and how they had to put together and assemble long drives, and that really didn't fit with what they were doing?
Well, I couldn't sleep this morning, so I got up at 4:30 and I watched the game again just so I'd be fresh on this. But I think you're exactly right, John. I think Joseph, as he likes to be called, flipped the football field continuously with his putting. And the punt return team and special teams at Ohio are very, very good. They're a punt return team. And the job that Coach Kaufman does with our special teams with those young people is amazing. And there's no doubt he might have been the offensive player of the game. When you look at what was going on with his punts, where they were downing those punts and giving Ohio long fields. And, I mean, they moved the ball, but they had so long to go that it's very hard to be that right offensively that long. And they were starting at the 1 and the 5 and the 10 and all that stuff, and they're driving it 40, 50 yards, and then all of a sudden the penalties or something would pop up because they had been out there a long period of time. So, I mean, if you're asking me who was the offensive player of the game, it was probably Joseph.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.